Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Help Me I'm Scared. I'm your host, Riley. Okay, welcome back. I know it's been a while. I've been gone for a while. I really wish I could explain everything, but you know what? A part of me already kind of did. So if you watch my YouTube videos, okay, on a regular basis, then you have probably seen that I have done yet a brand new like life update video. I think it's literally called life updates. So there's a video you guys can watch. Also, yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, I just did my nails before starting. So I want to have cute nails because tomorrow I'm going to a sleepover with one of my best friends, and then tomorrow is Friday, so you know it's my Friday, right? Okay, it's my Friday tomorrow. I'm supposed to, get off work, and then I'm gonna go pick up something to eat, and then from there I'm just gonna go straight to her house, and we're just gonna have a little gathering, and have a girls' night. And so I wanted to do my nails, and these ones are really nice because they're gonna really go well with the fit I have planned for tomorrow. Anyways, let's get off top. Let's just get off this topic, okay? I did want to just address the fact that I made my very first this is kind of just like a DIY thing that I did. It's nothing too fancy or anything. I wanted to make my very first mocktail, which I find fun and funny that, like, I mean, it's fun because it's like it's a mocktail, you mix drinks, and it's like supposed to be so good. And this one, the reason why I called it DIY is because, like, it's nothing too fancy, it's nothing bougie. Like, it's literally just like I used a Sprite and like cranberry juice, and it's pretty good, I will be honest. It does have that, like, I guess, like, how do I say it, like, carbonation kick right here. So I can definitely see, like, why they call these like mocktails, because it's like they're supposed to be non-alcoholic, which, like, if I really wanted to, I could have put some alcohol in here because I drink alcohol. Like, there was really no need for me to call this a mocktail, or for me to want to be like, I'm gonna drink a mocktail, because I drink alcohol. So, like, why the fuck am I gonna, like, I'm not, you know what I'm trying to say. So anyways, yeah, welcome back to this show. Okay, if you hear my chair fucking squeaking so much, it pisses me off. Okay, I kind of hate this chair. I really want to get rid of it. I've had it for a couple years now, so it's very squeaky if you're hearing it, and I apologize. Okay, so anyways, I did kind of have something that I want to talk about that is very personal. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to at least address something that has to do with this show, because I have the habit of doing something on YouTube and doing pretty good, in my opinion. Like, I'll just go on like a streak of like uploading videos like multiple times a week, multiple times a month. Like, I'll just go a good while where I'm like, I'm uploading so many videos, and I'm like, I feel very productive because of the amount of videos that I'm doing. And then out of nowhere, I just take big breaks. Like, I just take big hiatuses, and I'm just like, I just don't feel like it. I just don't really like care sometimes, and that is very much true. Sometimes I just don't really care that much to post anything or to like record anything. So, this show, however, is something that I have wanted to do for a really long time, and it took me a while to actually just like fucking do it. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, you just hit record. Like, you don't even have to do it through video. Like, you can literally just record yourself talking. Like, a podcast is like the easiest thing to do, like, at the start, and that was my biggest issue at first was the start. That was my biggest issue. And I mean, I was really proud of how far I was going, but then I took a big break, and the reason I took a break, I mean, it's very much explained in the video that I did, and I would really appreciate if you guys watch that video, because obviously when I do videos like that where I'm like, let's talk a little bit, let's talk about life for a sec, let's give each other some updates so you guys know what's going on, those videos are very personal to me, you know, so it's like, it really means a lot to me if you guys would just like watch them rather than me be like, well, let me explain what happens in them, that way you don't have to watch it. Okay, so if you guys really want to know why I keep on taking so many breaks from YouTube, you can definitely check out that video. Okay, so I want to just address though, like, this show, because I feel like the way I wanted this show to be, the way I kind of imagined it, it's not it I don't want to say it's not, it's more like it wasn't going the way I wanted it to. Originally, when I had planned to do this show, I originally wanted to, like, how do I say this? I wanted to basically tell personal stories. Because I myself am someone who, like, doesn't know how to handle certain emotions, you know? For example, when I get anxious, I don't know how to control it. When I get stressed, I don't know how to control it. When I sometimes get like frustrated and I get sad and I get angry and I get scared, I don't know how to control it. And that's why I just have like all these stories. I have a lot of moments in my life where I'm like, I go through so many things in life, and I really wanted to like make a show where I would just be able to share these stories, because that's the thing about me, in case you haven't yet noticed, I'm a big yapper, you know what I mean? I could do many story time videos, like just regular YouTube videos, but I notice I yap so much, so I'm like, I don't have time to explain all this. I'm like, I'm supposed to be making a video that ideally I would want it to be under 10 minutes, and I just can't because of the fact that I'm such a yapper. So what do? I decided I wanted to start a show where I can do that now, you know? And then it kind of didn't just go the way I wanted it to go. And now that doesn't mean that I thought of quitting the show or just giving it up. I actually wanted to fix it, and that's why I'm here today. Because when I started the show, I was telling, like, stories, funny things, and like I was like kind of doing what I wanted this show to be. But then I started noticing myself kind of getting off track of what the show's supposed to be, and I kind of wasn't liking it anymore. And realistically, I was the biggest flaw from it, okay? Because the show is called Help Me, I'm Scared, right? Which explains everything I said earlier about how I just don't know how to handle emotions. That's why I have all these stories of personal things that happened to me, because I'm like, guys, I was freaking out. I was scared. You're not going to believe what just happened to me. Help me. I'm scared. Like, I don't know what to do, you know? And then I listened back to like the episodes that I was doing, and it's like all I ever talked about were books and movies and TV shows. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my books, I love my movies, okay? I do that still, but I do that as like an extra 5 to 10 minutes after the main video's purpose is done. So it's kind of like, if you want to hang out with me a little bit more now that the video's over, you can hang out with me a little bit, and then we can talk about these things. But I was literally spending my entire episodes talking about like the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race. I was talking about what books I was currently reading, you know? Is that a fucking dog? I don't know if the microphone picked that up. There's a dog in the front yard. We don't even have a dog. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna try my best to ignore this goddamn dog. It's like I was spending my entire time talking about books, movies, like recommending like shows and stuff, and it's like, why am I talking about this? I'm like, this is not what the show is supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's like, you you see my show pop up on your recommended, and you see Help Me I'm Scared. You're probably thinking, oh my god, like this is a show about a girl who's probably been through a lot of shit, and she just tells her stories. Maybe she gives a little bit of advice. Hint, I don't give advice. I'm the one who needs it. Okay, so don't come ever looking for advice, because I'm the one who fucking needs it. So if anything, if you have the advice, give it to me. Okay. But it's like, that was like my vision with this show, is that like, you see my show pop up either on your Spotify or on your YouTube, and you see the title Help Me I'm Scared, and you see this girl, and you can, some people are claim that they can tell I am trans, and I mean, just by looking at me right now, I mean, I know I'm not like the most passable person right now, because I just showered. I'm about to go to bed after this. Why am I going to be in a full face of makeup, And for me, it's like, I am obviously transgender, and so that basically means that there are going to be stories to share, stories to tell here, you know what I mean? And so, like, that was like my whole like excitement for the show, is that like, people were supposed to be excited to like see my face and like see the title and be like, oh my god, like this is probably a show where a girl just shares all of like basically trauma dumps on you guys, and then like, you listen to it, and it's like, she's talking about her favorite books, she's talking about a show that she's watching, and I was like, this is not what I wanted. Like, I fucked this up, and I'm like, should I start over? Should I delete them? I'm like, I don't want to delete them, because like, I already did the work on that, so it's like I kind of just saw it as like, I kind of just wanted to view that as like the, like, I don't know if to call it season 1 or like the experiment season, where it's like, I'm gonna test this out, see if I'm into this or not, which I am, don't get me wrong. I still want to do this show on top of my other videos, but I did think about it. I was like, if I come back to this show, and this is either still gonna be season 1, or I'm gonna title this officially season 2, and maybe this time I'm gonna fix shit up, because I just didn't like the way season 1 was going, because I completely went off topic. And I'll be honest with you, I have seen and noticed the exact same thing happening with my other show that I do with my friend, the Sunflower Roses. That show, same thing. It was supposed to be mostly about us, like, just sharing stories about each other, just having fun with each other, like laughing with each other. And I have noticed, I'm like, when we have this segment, that technically we do have a segment, we call it things heard, read, and seen, which is supposed to be the moment where you now get to share, like, okay, what books have we currently read, what movies have we recently watched, what are we currently listening to, what are we currently watching on Netflix or whatever, like, like, that was supposed to be that segment. And ideally, I wanted that segment to be anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes of the episode, right? And then I realized, because of the fact that I'm such a yapper, sometimes she is a yapper. So it's like, we end up spending like over half an hour, sometimes the hour, just talking about books, movies. And I'm like, at this point, we need to just have our own show separate for books, movies, TV shows, whatever. Like, I don't want necessarily like these things to be about just movies and TV shows, because like, even though those are two things that, like, well, not so much TV shows, but like me, like, I'm a big movie fan, so it's like, movies, books, like, that's my shit. Like, those are my favorite things ever. But like, I don't want my whole, like, I don't want to call this career, but like, if I did make something out of this, like, this is not what I wanted it to be, like, I don't want my projects of this like podcast or my YouTube channel, like, I don't want them to be necessarily just focusing on that, when it's like, okay, but the title made it seem like it was supposed to be about this, kind of clickbaited. I don't know, like, I so that's kind of what I mean, and that's kind of why, like, I wanted to address this, because I was like, I want to fix this, because it's like, this is something that I wanted to do. This is something that I was like, I had my mindset on it, and I went for it, and I was proud of myself, but I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it the way I wanted it to be. And so I kind of was like, you know what, I'm not gonna give up the show. I'm not gonna quit it. I'm not gonna just leave it and leave it left for dead or anything like that. I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna fix it, and that is what I'm gonna do starting now. So that is basically all I wanted to say for that. I am going to officially be moving on to a little bit of a personal story that I kind of went through, and this is kind of a story that it's a little triggering. So it's actually it's very triggering. Actually, I should have said that at the start. This is gonna be a very triggering story, at least for someone like me. So here's the thing, right? This is kind of a long story, which is great because it's a podcast. So I feel more good about that. So this almost has to do with religion. But it's not entirely focused on religion. But the reason why I say that is because I'm gonna start the story from the beginning, obviously, and it starts with the conversation of religion. So I know the topic of religion is very weird, especially coming from someone like me, because obviously, I mean, look at me. Do you watch my YouTube videos? Do you listen to my episodes? Do I seem religious? No. Okay. But here's the thing, right? For a good while, I was kind of like, I did kind of fall into that like loop of like being fascinated, not by religion, but just like, like God and stuff like that, and like Jesus Christ and stuff like that. And I had explored, different types of like churches, different types of Bibles and things like that. And I guess I just kind of was like, I was surrounded by so many people at the time that were into like religion and stuff like that. So for me, it was kind of like, okay, well, everyone I know is doing this, like, should I just do it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna stop being transgender. That was actually the first thing I made clear with myself. I was like, look, listen, Riley, I was like, you want to be into God and like follow his word and do everything like this, you want to read and study the Bible and like be all spiritual and shit, go for it, girl, but remember who you are, right? That's what I told myself. I didn't have anyone tell me. This is what I told myself. I was like, no matter what you want to do with your life, no matter what your spiritual beliefs, whatever are, just always remember who you are, and don't let anyone take that away from you. That is what I told myself before I fell into this like loop of like religions and stuff like that. And I will be honest, at the time, I don't really like talking about like what kind of religions, because I don't want people to necessarily like get the wrong ideas of me or anything like that. But before, actually, this was like when I first came out. When I first came out, which was like mainly just like the closest family members, like I wasn't dressing feminine. I was barely wearing any makeup. The most I would do was like paint my nails, so I didn't like represent, at least like physically, feminine, not like the way I do now, right? And so at the time, I was closeted. Technically to the world, not to my family, but to the world, I was closeted because everyone just saw me as a boy. And at that time, we were going to a Mormon church, and in the Mormon church, I could do a whole episode on my experiences with every church I've been in since like I even moved here. You know what I mean? Because before, when I was a kid, like church was not really like a thing. So I just, there's really nothing to say about that. But like ever since we moved up here, like I can make a whole episode just dedicated to my experiences with every church that I've been to, because trust me, I have experiences. I have some kind of good, some really bad. And I will say, almost every church that I've been to, I have had really bad experiences with. Which is that surprising? No, it's not surprising, because I mean, again, look who I am. You know what I mean? Like, you really think that someone like me, like, at least like the way I thought about it, I was like, Riley, do you really expect to have the best time or have everything go so well as a trans girl going to church? And at the time, it was like, it was complicated, because it was like, when I was in the Mormon church, which, by the way, let me just make this clear. I never claimed to have been Mormon. I never identified as Mormon. I just made it clear that we went to the church. I never told anyone that I have read stories, verses, whatever they're called, from the Book of Mormon. I've never told anyone that I was a Mormon, because to me it's like, I'm not. Like, I'm just going to this church, but like that doesn't necessarily make me feel like I should have to identify as this. And so at the time it was very hard for me, because I was like, I don't feel like a boy. I'm a girl. Like, I just recently told my family that I'm a girl. I'm like, I wish the world could see me the way I wish I could. Like, I wish everyone could see me the way I see me, as a feminine girl. But obviously, being in a church where I was put in the group of men, because that's what I was to them, it was very, very uncomfortable. Because, I mean, think about it. Being a girl in a room full of men, and I mean, like I said, I can just make a whole episode on that. So I'm not even gonna get that deep into this, because I can just say that for a whole new episode. So then I realized, you know what, Mormonism is not for me. I don't even believe in it. So, like, fuck this, And then I had tried going to like a Christian church, but like the reason why I went to this specific church was because of my friend Fatima, who you guys know from my other show, Sunflower Roses. I tried going to her church because they are obviously in this religion and stuff, and for me, at first it was like, okay, like I'm kind of feeling it, like I'm not necessarily saying like this is me now, but like I like it. I like the vibe, and then I did have my moments as well where I was like, this is not for me. I'm like, after a while I was like, this isn't for me. Like, I don't know if it was the religion, I don't know if it was the church. I was like, but this is not for me, So then at the time, I had wanted to look for a different religion. And at that time, I had decided that I wanted to explore Catholicism, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically Catholic. I wanted to explore more of that and understand more of it, because here's the thing, right? I wasn't trying to do this necessarily like because like religion, you know what I mean? Like, that's not who I am, and I don't believe in religion. I believe in like God and stuff. Like, that's something I've believed in since I was little, and even like one of the things that like my mom, like, I think like it's a thing with like I don't have to say like it's a Mexican mom thing, or if it's just a mom thing, like moms who like, believe in, God and stuff, or like obviously no matter who you are, they always know, God's always watching over you and God's always going to protect you, Because I'll be honest with you, my mom was the same way with me. She didn't really care for religion, and I mean, she just believed in God, and like that was it for her. Like, she was not a pushy religious person. My mom had never read the Bible, at least not that I knew of, and she never wanted to force us into any religion or go to church anywhere, because she always viewed it as like, that's for you guys to decide. Do you want to go to church? Do you want to explore religion? She left that completely up to us. She was not going to force any of us to go to any church, no matter what. And at this time, I had wanted to explore Catholicism. And it was perfect timing. At this time, it was almost going to be like close to Easter, like entering like Lent season, which I think I have explained that on this show actually in like one of my last episodes. Like I did explain, I think, that I was like participating in Lent this year, and that was part of it because I was like, well, I want to explore Catholicism. I kind of want to experiment with it. I hadn't gone to a Catholic church. I ever since I was like, you know what, I kind of want to explore this. I never went to a Catholic church. I will be honest. I never did. And I was like, you know what, I'm a participate in Lent this year. And I did something as my Lent, like participation, that I look back and I question, like, what were you thinking, Riley? Like, did you really think that was going to be a good idea? And for those of you who don't know much about Lent is, I don't know how to explain it fully, but it's like, I think it's like is it 30 or 60 days? I don't even remember how long it is. You can almost think of Lent, for those of you who have no idea what it is. Again, I don't know how to explain the actual like definition of it, but a lot of people, the way they participate in it is, think of it kind of like a short version of like a New Year's resolution, but it's the opposite way, where it's like in New Year's resolutions, you're used to being like, this year I'm gonna focus on going to the gym, I'm gonna focus on reading more, where it's like with this participation, people tend to give up stuff, or some people actually do, I think, like dedicate more time to doing certain things like going to the gym or something. But some people, like, they'll give up like fast food, they'll give up like too many sugary sweets. A lot of people will give up like inappropriate like movies, and they'll be like, I'm only gonna watch like clean, like family friendly stuff. So that's basically what people do. And unfortunately, I was an idiot because I really decided that I was going to give up wearing makeup. And the idea is not bad, don't get me wrong, right? Because my whole point, like my whole plan with this was that, like, I wanted to try to feel good with like my natural self. I mean, look at me, right? This is my natural self. This is my natural hair. I did not curl my hair. My hair is naturally curly like this. I'm wearing no makeup, and I want it to be that way. And basically what happened was, I started off pretty good. Like, I kind of was like, I was getting through it, and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm feeling it. Like, I'm feeling my like natural self, but I was still dressing very feminine, because obviously I wasn't gonna stop being me. I just wasn't wearing makeup. That was the only difference. And so for me, what really made me regret doing that was the fact that I went to the dentist. I had a dentist appointment, and I went, And when they were done doing what they were doing, I think I went for a cleaning or something. They told me to wait in the lobby because they were gonna call me up to like the reception area so that way they can schedule my next appointment. So that's what I did. I sat at the lobby, and there was nobody in there. There was nobody in the waiting room except for two kids. There were kids there. One of them looked maybe like 13, and the other one looked like maybe 7, right? And my mistake was that I sat in the exact same row as them, and I started like feeling the vibes getting off with these kids, because although they weren't telling me anything, like they weren't like, saying anything, they weren't like, telling, well, they were, but here's the thing, they weren't saying anything to me, like they weren't trying to like ask me questions or like tell me shit or anything like that. They were kind of more talking amongst each other, but then I can tell that like by their whispering they're talking about me. Okay, so at this point I kind of get really uncomfortable because I'm like, these kids are talking about me. And the reason why it really like fucked me up with not wearing makeup is that my biggest like insecurity, my biggest like I just like I hate it about myself is like my 5 o'clock shadow, which I'm surprised you can't see it much right now on camera. Maybe the hormones are really taking them away. But I have a really bad 5 o'clock shadow. Maybe you can't see it on camera, but in person it's like bad, like it's visibly visible from afar. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you can see my 5 o'clock shadow from miles away. And so obviously they see this girl who sits close to them, and mind you, I'm wearing my skirt, I'm wearing a cute crop top that kind of like cuts off right here, so it's like my shoulders were out and everything. Like I was in a cute fit, don't get me wrong, like I was in a cute ass fit. The problem was that they took a look at me and then they saw my 5 o'clock shadow, and then to them it was like, oh, that's not a girl, that's a boy. That's what they were talking amongst each other as, is that to them it was like, oh, that's a boy, like that's what they were like whispering with each other. And I kind of just rolled my eyes and was like, kids, but then things got really out of hand and I got really scared. And here's the thing, I feel like a lot of you guys are gonna think that I'm weak for this, or that like I had a missed opportunity to do something, because what happened was that after a while, this little kid, right, I'm mainly talking about the like 7-year-old. The 13-year-old really wasn't doing much. I mean, he was just kind of talking, but like he was mostly just on his phone. Like the other kid though, the like 7-year-old, he was like on his phone as well. And then out of nowhere, I can just tell just by the sound of it, he goes on FaceTime with his dad. Okay, I can tell because he calls him dad, so I'm like, he's on FaceTime with his dad. The kid sits in this like weird like balled up position where he kind of just like sits back on the seat and lifts his legs up so his knees are like right here basically, and he's holding his phone like this, right? And at one point he's kind of sitting in a way where he's like facing me. So based on the way he's holding his phone and facing me, I'm like, is this kid pointing a camera at me? Like I kind of had suspicions, And then I officially like lost it and just got the fuck out of there, the moment I heard his dad like ask, and mind you, dad was on speaker, okay, because it was FaceTime, so I'm like, I can hear this conversation. I can hear the dad on the phone. The dad makes a comment by saying like, "What's that? Like, what am I looking at?" And the kid, this 7-year-old, I literally hear him whisper on the phone saying, "It's a boy." Right? So at this point, I'm like, okay, so this kid may not be filming me, but it's on FaceTime showing me to people, like invading my fucking privacy, right? And I got so scared because I was like, okay, this is a child. What the fuck do I do? Like, mind you, legal guardian was nowhere to be found. Okay, I think because they were there with whoever they were, maybe their mom or grandma, I don't know. They went inside to go see the dentist. The kids stayed in the lobby waiting, right? And so I was like, there's no legal guardian for me to like to say something. So I was like, I'm stuck here to like have to confront these fucking kids. And ideally, I didn't want to do that because I'm like, these are kids. I'm like, if they truly start to fucking try and fight me, there's nothing I can really do because I don't want to get in trouble because they started shit with me. But again, that's just because I don't know how to handle my fucking emotions. I'm like, I'm scared, I'm uncomfortable, I'm mad, I don't know what to do. All I did was I fucking got up and I went up to the receptionist lady and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know, mind you, at this point, you're probably thinking, Riley's gonna say something. Riley's gonna step up and say something. No, I didn't. I really wanted to, but it was one of those feelings of like biting my tongue so hard that I couldn't say anything. I wanted to so fucking badly, but I just like, I couldn't get it out because I think of like just like the amount of anxiety that was running through my body at this very moment. I was not doing anything, I wasn't saying anything, and I literally went up to the receptionist lady, and as much as I wish I could have fucking said something, I didn't. And I remember telling her, saying like, hey, they wanted me to wait here so that they can call me up to schedule my next appointment, and no one's been calling me. I'm like, I need to go. I was like, I'll just make my appointment some other day. And the girl felt bad and she was like, let me just make you your appointment. So I was like, okay, so great. I could have just come to you straightforward. I was like, they told me I was going to get called. I was like, so I basically sat there and got harassed for no reason. There was no reason I should have had to have gone through that. And the girl, she's writing like, because you know how like doctors' offices and dentists and stuff, they have like those reminder cards where like they'll write down like your appointment time so that way you don't forget, and she was writing that. And right next to her there was a little stack of like small post-it notes, and I so badly wanted to ask her for one, just to be like, can I just like have one? I was like, I just need to write something down, and my plan was to write what's going on and leave it there for her to see and make it clear, I'm leaving you this message here, I'm about to fucking walk out this door. And again, I couldn't do it. I didn't have it in me to like say something, not even in written form, not even in writing. Like I couldn't even do this shit in writing, like I was just so fucking scared and I couldn't do anything. Like all I could think of was just fucking leave, and even when I was leaving, like I remember I I took my appointment card from her, and the moment I was walking out the door, I saw, like, from the corner of my eye, I was trying not to pay any attention to them, but I saw from the corner of my eye, I saw this fucking kid turn around and kept looking at me, and he started kind of like, I don't know what it's called when, like, they kind of whistle at you. What is that called? I don't know what it's called. When you know that stupid like whistle that like men do at women and stuff like that. So this kid kind of whistled at me like that, and that made me even more uncomfortable. And so I like rushed to my car, and I sat in my car for a while, and I just started like crying, and I got on the phone with my friend, and I was like crying. And my friend didn't really like do or say much because they were distracted with their own situation going on. So I got so upset, and I was just so mad in the moment that I literally just like hung up the phone, didn't even say bye to her, didn't even explain, like saying like, you know what, I'll just call you later. I was just so mad that I just hung the phone up without saying anything, and I didn't call her back. Like, I was just so mad in general. I was like, and here's even the weirder thing. Here's even the scarier thing. While I was sitting in my car, crying, taking a moment to just breathe, I saw from my rearview mirror, I saw this fucking kid start walking outside of the dentist's office, and in my mind, I was like, is this kid really trying to look for me? Like, is this kid really trying to like fuck me up right now? I'm like, this kid looks like he's trying to like look for me, like he's coming out to get me or something. I'm like, this is a 7-year-old kid. And I was more embarrassed with myself because I was like, you're so scared. I was like, Riley, you're scared. Why are you scared of a 7-year-old kid? I'm like, but you see, do you guys kind of understand like what I'm trying to get at? I'm like, what's scary about it to me is the fact that this is a minor. I don't know what I can do. I don't know what like consequences I would be facing if like, even if I just made a comment to this kid, because for all I know, this kid probably did want to beat the shit out of me. And what was I gonna be able to do? If I start swinging on this kid, I'm the one who's gonna be getting in trouble. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I just need to get out of here. I just need to fucking go. And I mean, I even like changed dentists and everything. Like, I don't want to go back there, and I just haven't. And I'm just like like I was as mad as I am, and as mad as I was with everything, like from the kid to the fucking workers who didn't even let me know, like, hey, you can just come up here, like we'll make you your appointment so you can leave. Like, they literally told me like, no, sit at the lobby, they'll call you, right? So I was just like, I was so mad, like in general, like it was just not my day. And I was even more upset with this whole Lent shit, because I was like, this was supposed to be so that I could feel better about myself, like with my natural self. I was like, and all I got from it was I ended up getting harassed for the first time being outed as a trans woman. Like, I got harassed not just by anyone, I got fucking harassed by a kid, and I just didn't see it as like a good thing anymore. I was like, you know what, like, fuck this Lent shit. I was like, I'm giving this shit up. Like, I should have never have given up my makeup, because even though I love makeup, guys, like, I don't think you guys truly understand like makeup from a trans girl's perspective, because it's like a lot of trans women really use it like as like our shield of being able to pass sometimes. Because I'll be honest, there's times where I may not dress feminine, but like if I do my makeup and like make myself look at least kind of cute, from here on up, like I pass to people. People will always call me ma'am or like miss, but But the moment I don't wear makeup and I go out in public, that's when I get misgendered. So it's like, for me, it's like makeup is like, I need it, you know? And I was stupid enough to like want to follow this dumbass faith and be like my natural self. Like, fuck that. All that shit got me was my first ever harassment. Okay? And I was not happy. And that was the moment that I realized this Catholicism shit, this Lent shit, I'm like, this is my sign. I can't fucking do this shit. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then I had a moment where I had gone back with my friend to her church because I felt like, you know what, something about me, I'm like, it's like, I don't care for religion, but it's like I want to at least feel some type of like closeness with God, because at the time, like, you guys have to keep in mind, like we all go through our shit. I'm like, but for me, it's like when people have reminded me that, like, you know, God's like, you know, working on me, and like he's trying to help me, and like he's going to help me, you know, like I keep that faith. And the reason for that, again, is because, like, you know, my mom always like taught us, like, you don't have to believe in religion, you don't have to go to church. She's like, but just always remember that, like, you know, God is good and stuff like that. And so I always kept that. I was like, you know what, like, I'm at this point, I'm just going to churches just to like get out, you know, like I already have my own personal relationship with like a God out there. So it's like there's really no like reason I should even be in a church or anything like that. And so I kind of had a moment to think to myself. I was like, should I even be in church or not? I'm like, the obvious answer was obviously no. But then I did go back to my friend's church, because I feel like, you know what, I was like, I kind of need not just like a little bit of her in my life right now, because of the way I'm kind of like, I've been hurting. So it's like I need that like friend in my life right now. I was like, I need a little bit of God in my life right now. So that's what I did, is I went to her church one day, and it did not go well. It went really, really bad for me. And I left, like, not in the parking lot, but again, I left like driving home again, like just crying. And I never like went back there anymore. And that's when I thought to myself, I was like, this is not in general for me. I'm like, I will have my connections with God in my own way. I'm like, but I don't obviously belong in churches, you know. That's an obvious thing. Like I said in the beginning, who would expect me to be in a church, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure if like my friends see this, you know, like all of my friends are gonna tell me, well, girl, what were you thinking? And I asked myself the same thing too. I mean, yeah, what was I thinking? You know, I was doing this because like everyone that was close to me at the time, like everyone was doing it, so it's like I was doing it too, and I just kind of like fell into it, you know. And I just like kind of like had a moment to really think about it, and I was like, you know what, I was like, as much as I have my own connections with God in my own way, no matter what way they are, and I don't want people to like tell me that like they're wrong or anything like that, or tell me like how you're supposed to, you know, have a relationship with God, have a connection with him, like how the proper way to like be with God is, like how to properly get into heaven when you die, you know. I don't want that anymore. Okay, I can honestly say how much I just like fucking hate and just don't appreciate religion. And again, it has nothing to do with God. I'm like, it's not a thing I'm against God. It's like I'm just against religion. I'm like, religion, church, I'm kind of against it. I don't necessarily believe in it most of the time. I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, I'm not into it anymore. And here's the thing though, I still, keep my prayers, because again, like I keep saying, I have my own faith and connections to a God out there. It may not be the same God maybe everyone has. Okay, it may not be the same God that my friend has. Okay, but I have my faiths, my connections. I do what I do, and I mean that's all I have, because I tried. I tried finding a church, and with my experiences, it wasn't going anywhere great. And it's like I said earlier, like, was I really expecting for it to go like sunshine and rainbows for someone like me? No, I was not. Um, and yeah, and you know what? I wasn't planning on saying it, but like, if you if you were curious why I had a bad final experience at my friend's church, um, I had gotten dead named. Now the reason for that obviously bothering me, I mean, other than the fact that I was dead named, is that I kind of felt like this feeling of like betrayal almost, because nobody from the church, and mind you, I knew a few of those people already. Like, I was already starting to like get to know some people there. I was starting to get to like really like become friends with some people there. um nobody really knew my dead name, like, so for them to say my dead name like out loud, like to the whole church basically, and it was also live streamed, that was like a next level of humiliation on my end, and I was so deeply uncomfortable. um and I want, again, I wanted to just leave in that moment, but I stayed glued to my seat because I was like, I don't want to make this clear to my friend that I'm upset. I'm like, but I'm so upset. And I I was just so mad, and I left, and I was like, I cried for a minute because I was like, you know, I like, what the fuck is going on? But also like, Riley, why are you surprised? I'm like, you knew this could happen. You know that religions don't necessarily have like respect for people of my own community, so it was like, it was weird. It was like, for me to like, it was kind of one of those dumb realizations where it's like, why didn't I think of this sooner? Why didn't I like see it coming, but I didn't see it coming. um because the moment I got dead named, and like nobody but me saw that that was wrong, I immediately was like, I'm never coming back here ever again. And I haven't. And I don't, and like, I don't even like, I find it so hard to like even open a Bible now, because it's like the Bible itself may have their things in there that go against me, but I'm very fascinated with like hearing these stories that go on in the Bible. But it's like, you guys, like, it's like, when I say you guys right now, I'm not talking about like you guys listening and watching this. I'm talking about like religious people. Like, you guys don't understand how hard it is now for me to hear these stories, because all I'm reminded of now is that, for people like them, like, I'm nothing but sin, and I'm, pretending and stuff like that, and it's not real. So it's like, for me, like, it makes me feel so invalidated, and I'm just like, this is not for me. And so ever since then, I have completely just like walked away from religion. And I had my moment with God where I was like, God, love you, respect you, and I pray to you, but just keep in mind, I'm not able to go back. Okay. and I will follow God my own way. Okay, whatever God it is. Okay, there's like a bunch of different versions of God out there. Um, I I'm fine. Okay, I don't need to follow a specific religion or a specific church's way of following God, or anything like that. Like, I have my own ways. Okay, um, and I mean, to be fair, like, I mean, I communicate a lot um with like my own mom, because to me it's like, that's my mom. It's like, I'm not just gonna stop like talking to my mom just because like she passed away, type of stuff. um so I really appreciate, like, when I started getting really into, like, learning to read tarot cards, because the spirits, when it comes to like tarot and all that, is like a whole nother language that I still don't really understand, but I enjoy it. I'm fascinated by it. Um and I remember one of my friends who first taught me about tarot. um she told me that the moment that um one of my best friends gave me my very first deck of tarot cards as like a gift. She wanted to give it to me as a gift because, for those of you who don't know about tarot and all that, and I know a lot of you guys out there probably do, those of you who do know about tarot and things like that, it's more recommended that your first deck of cards is gifted to you rather than you buy them. So that's why it was perfect, because it was like one of my best friends who does tarot. She gifted me a deck that she thought would be great for me. Like, she was like, this is a really pretty deck, it's a nice one, and I want you to have it. And first thing, before she even handed it to me, she even wanted to like show me. She's like, this is how you do it. So we tested it out, and the moment that cards started flipping and she was like, those are your cards, let's see what you get, I immediately got connected. And those cards just read me so well that I was like, this makes so much sense. I'm like, this is amazing, because I'm witnessing like something with my own eyes, like, I'm actually witnessing like how true tarot is, and like how, like, just like how much it works and things like that. And I was like, oh shit, I was like, damn. And so when I told my other friend, the one that first taught me about tarot, I told her that I got a deck that was passed down to me by a friend, and that I right away connected with them. And I did my very own like reading on myself that same night that I got my deck. And again, I reconnected, and it was like amazing. It was an amazing feeling, because I was like, oh shoot, like, wow. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, you have to really witness it to believe it. And when I told my friend had like connected like with my mom and stuff, and even told me that my mom is now connecting with me through the card readings. If that made any sense. I know a lot of you tarot readers are probably like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. No, I don't, because I'm new to this. Like, I'm new to this. Like, I'm not an expert on this at all. Like, not even by 2%. Like, but it's like, I understand when I get a card and I look up the meaning of it, and I'm like, oh, interesting. And so I talked to my mom a lot through them, and it's really helped me. Like, it's really helped me, because it's like, it's different now, where it's like I would pray to my mom, and then it was like, I wouldn't actually get to like hear or see her actual words. It would just be like a sign. And the difference with when I do tarot is that the spirits that have connected with me, they they give me the message direct. It's like the moment I need this message in my life, they give it to me then and there. And I can confirm that even though, like a regular prayer, it does take its time for them to really, like, make the future of what has been said to you come true. Um, but I can confirm now that a lot of what the cards tell me has come true. And it's just like amazed me, because I was like, this is like, I've been missing out on this. I'm like, why have I not gotten into this? You know what I mean? So I have a deck of tarot cards and I have a deck of oracle cards. The tarot I mostly use to, like, mainly, like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, I talk a lot with my mom through there. You know what I mean? So it's like when I need that, like, that guidance or that motivation or like some type of inspiration or any type of, like, I just need someone to talk to like that. The tarot is really helpful for that. The oracle cards, believe it or not, but I actually use the oracle cards to make myself feel better. um because, like, I'll feel like I am not beautiful and stuff like that, and like I'll do a random reading and the card will basically tell me that you are the beauty in this world, and I'm like, you know what, thank you, thank you so much, like I really needed that. And I just have so many, like, great friends of different, like, spiritual connections and different spiritual beliefs, and all kinds of beliefs, some with God and religion, some with spirits and, like, tarot and, like, all that stuff. And it's like, I feel like I have experimented my way through a lot of different things, and it's like I'm still my own person. I'm not necessarily someone who, it's like, I'm gonna decide to stick to, like, I'm 100% a tarot person, or I'm 100% a religious person, because I mean, I'm neither or, because even with the tarot, like, as much as I love it, like, I don't know about it. And I frankly don't even study it, so it's like I need, like, my friends to come and tell me, like, I need to go to my friends and be like, hey, so what what does it mean, like, like, I just don't have those connections. My friend has done readings on me and she's, like, amazing at explaining it, and, like, I don't have that. I don't have that power. But I probably will one day. So that's kind of been, like, my struggle, and that's kind of been, like, where I've been at. Um and I'm sure, like I said, if you guys go back to, like, a few of my older episodes of this show, I think like, if you look through the episodes and if you see, like, on a thumbnail, maybe, like, it doesn't look like she's wearing makeup. If you click on that one, I'll most likely mention, like, that I'm participating in it, so you'll know what the episode is when you see it. So you guys can check that out. And with that said, I think I'm gonna end this episode here, because I don't even know what time it is, but I am gonna get to bed soon because I do have work tomorrow morning, and I just have, like, a busy day tomorrow. Okay, like I said, I'm going to work, and then right out of work, like, I'm going to a sleepover. So I'm so busy tomorrow. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow, which, like, I'm so grateful for. I'm just so grateful for it. Like, I've been so miserable just being locked up at home and not having anything to do, really. So it's like, I'm at least getting myself out there and getting busy, so, like, that's the point, right? So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know, like, did you guys like this? Did you guys like this, like, feeling of, like, me just, like, talking about, like, a personal issue? Because, like I said, this is what it was supposed to be. Okay, notice how I didn't mention what movies or books I'm reading. Okay, because that was not what the show was about. What you heard here, what you saw here, this is what the show was supposed to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are willing to come back again. But I mean, don't let what I said about the older episodes like stop you from like checking them out. If you guys want to check out my first season, you guys can definitely do so. I don't even think it's that long. I think it might be like 5, 6 episodes, if anything. Um, they're not that long either. So I mean, you guys can definitely check them out, and you know, let me know what you guys think about them too. I mean, heck, let me know. Do you guys want me to eventually do my own show where I talk about just movies and books? I mean, I will if you guys want to listen to that, but for the most part, I think I just want to focus on my personal YouTube channel and these videos. So, you know, I think I'm just gonna stay with this for now. But I'm always open to ideas. But anyways, I'm gonna go because I want to get to sleep, and I will see you guys next time. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, nor do I know when I'm gonna record my next video, because I don't know if you guys noticed, I started uploading videos on, I think, Fridays, and girl, it's Friday tomorrow. I'm barely recording a podcast episode. I haven't recorded a regular YouTube video, so I'm screwed. I'm fuck, I don't know what to do. So, you know, I'll see what I do. But anyways, thank you guys for listening once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.